This is Shockwave News Live. You can find me online at shockwavenews.net. And of course, right here on Spreaker, that's Spreaker.com/Shockwave News. And right here on Anchor, that's Anchor.fm, Anchor.fm/Shockwave News. And on Twitter, Twitter.com/Shockwave News 1. Okay, let's get right into the news here, folks. Like, share, subscribe if you like this podcast. Okay, today's news comes from naturalnews.com. That's naturalnews.com. Thursday, September 24th, 2020. And the headlines from naturalnews.com is Governor DeSantis proposes new law introducing harsh punishments for rioters, riot organizers, and their financiers. Well, Governor DeSantis is the governor of the great state of Florida, right here where I live. Governor DeSantis is sick and tired of the BS and what he's seeing all around the United States. He doesn't want that crap coming to the state of Florida. I can't say I blame him. So he's making new laws that are going to punish these people to the extreme. And this is exactly what they need. As long as they continue doing what they do, they're going to keep rioting, keep looting, keep trashing, keep harming individuals and property, and do destructive damage if nobody stops them. And law enforcement in a lot of these liberal states ran by liberal governors and liberal mayors of the city and respective states, they don't want to stop that. They're being told to turn a blind eye and let this crap go on. Well, Governor DeSantis is not going to have anything about that. He's going to do his own thing, and he's going to fight for the people to stop this unruliness and unlawlessness. So let's get into it. The bill known as Combating Violence and Disorder and Looting and Law Enforcement Protection Act will push for harsh penalties against individuals that are found guilty of rioting, looting, as well as participating in associated actions. DeSantis hopes that the bill will discourage people led astray by Antifa and Black Lives Matter, there we go, from joining riots. It will be introduced in Florida legislature in its next session, scheduled to begin after the election. It looks like what goes on in Portland, DeSantis said, a Republican, at a press conference announcing the legislation, is they'll have to arrest them. They're all scraggly-looking Antifa types. They get their mugshot taken. They get released. It's like a carousel. It goes on. That's not going to happen down here in Florida. So that's what he's saying, that's not going to happen. Then here is also below that, the DOJ declares Seattle, Portland, New York lawless anarchist zones, setting up the federal arrest of Democrat mayors after the election. New criminal offenses for rioters and increased penalties for existing offenses. DeSantis' new legislation also creates criminal offenses placed in a third-degree felony for charge people who participate in violence or disorderly assemblies that include at least 7 people, for as well as rioters who block traffic during any kind of unplanned demonstration, the driver seen fleeing for safety and violence. If there's a mob obstructing the road, they will be held liable for any injury or death they may cause. Second-degree felony charge placed on people who damage, destroy public property, including historical monuments. First-degree misdemeanor charge will be placed on people who harass, intimidate public places such as restaurants. Furthermore, bill adds under the new liability under racketeer and influenced and corrupt organizations. This is under the RICO Act, folks, to anybody caught either organizing, financier, or financing violent protest and assemblies. So to break all that down, basically, if you come down to Florida and you start this rioting bullshit with BLM, you start this rioting bullshit of Antifa and all this crap down here in Florida, your ass is going to be arrested. Your ass is going to be either a felony first, second, or third degree. That's up to you what choice of felony and what the state decides to charge you. But DeSantis isn't fucking around here, and it'd been nice if the other governors wouldn't fuck around here. But instead what they do is they cry foul play after everything's done, after Black Lives Matter, after Antifa comes in, and after they destroy their city and their precious towns. They want federal bailout money from President Trump. Well, you let the assholes come in, you let the asswipes come in and destroy everything, terrorize the good citizens of your cities, destroy everything, arson, burn everything down, loot, steal, and totally damage the businesses and homes of these great cities all around America. And you want President Trump to bail you out? And I would say, go fuck yourself. That's exactly what I would say. You don't need President Trump to bail you out. If you knew how to run rather than put your stupid fucking liberal agenda, if you knew how to run a city, then you wouldn't need the federal government to bail you out. You would be able to handle that on a state level. But because you let these asswipes come in, bought and paid for again, financed by George Soros, you let these asswipes come in. And so you basically have done that exactly, and you've done that to the people. You've done that yourself. So don't go blaming other people. Don't go blaming other states. If other states, conservative states, such as Texas, conservative states, such as the state of Florida, want to run the show differently than you, that's your choice. You screwed up. That's your problem. And unfortunately, the good citizens of your state and your big cities that you've allowed these thugs to come into, unfortunately, you've allowed that, and there's nothing peaceful about that. Again, folks, I'm always for the Constitution and the rights of the people. However, the Constitution doesn't give you the right to loot, cheat, steal, destroy property, arson, burn everything down. The Constitution says a peaceful protest, a gathering, and a peaceful protest. If those people listening to this podcast don't know what that is, try reading the Constitution for a change. You might actually learn something. There's a no-brainer right there. You know, read what the Constitution says. The Constitution's very clear as to what you can do and what you can't do, and these actions that these thugs are partaking in all around in the big cities of California and Seattle and all over New York, it just goes on and on and on, is unlawful. And that's what I want you to know. So DeSantis also wants a special session for anti-rioter legislation, even though the bill has already been filed and the Florida legislation isn't expected to hold hearing regarding DeSantis legislation until November 17th. As such, the governor has called for them to hold a special session in order to pass the act. DeSantis has even reached out to Senator Wilton Simpson, the incoming president of the Senate. So he's going to be the new presidential of the Senate here in the state of Florida. As I mentioned, President Simpson, an incoming Speaker of the House, DeSantis said it's going to have broad support, and I think certainly Republican caucuses in both chambers. You may know something you need to act on. So in other words, DeSantis is hoping to get this passed before the election. And I can tell you all the threats from the left-wing wackos, the far left-wing wackos. They want this rioting to continue right up to the election. And if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Joe Biden doesn't get elected for president, they will continue this anarchy and just continue with the bullshit and continue the rioting and looting and everything, and it's going to get worse. President Trump has said he has a rapid force to be able to take down the rioters, and that's exactly what he's going to need to do. And I hate to say this, folks, but this is what we've come to. The wacko left, because they're being exposed for the idiots and pedophiles and all kinds of corruption that's going on. They're going to get sought out. They're going to get found out. And the bottom line is they're going to be discovered and they're going to be jailed eventually. And notice I say eventually. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a process. And anything, I've had lots of people question, well, geez, why aren't they doing anything? And blah, 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 blah. Why isn't Hillary arrested? Well, you got to understand that Attorney General Bill Barr, he's got a process, a legal set of process, just like everybody else. They have due justice, and they have a process in the justice system. You just can't go out unless you physically see Hillary Clinton pull the trigger to the gun and shoot and kill somebody. You just can't arrest Hillary Clinton. There's a process. Hillary Clinton has a lot of, like a lot of these other people, George Soros, Bill Gates, I can go on and on and on, has a lot of power. Obama the same way. And because they have a lot of power and they have a lot of power, they have a lot of influence, these people aren't going to go down very quietly. They're not going to go down very easily. So what you have to do, and a lot of people disagree with this, and sometimes I do, but the process is you start taking down the smaller pegs around that person. And once you start disintegrating the wall brick by brick by brick around the person, around the Hillary Clintons, Bill and Hillary Clinton and Obama and everybody, then they start to crack. They start to crack because you're starting to take down people close and around them, and they start to get nervous, and then this is when they slip up. So that's kind of the process of what's going on, and I don't know if a lot of you folks knew that or not, but that's the process. It takes a long time. You have to go brick by brick, piece by piece. You have to be dot your I's and cross your T's. But that's kind of the process. They have to take down the low-lying fruit, as we would say here in Florida. You have to take down the low-lying fruit, or the people that you can nab easily before you get the big kingpin. The big kingpin, again, is the Hillary Clintons, the George Soros, the Obamas, and it just goes on and on and on. There's no way to just go immediately head-on to that person. Again, you have to take the low-lying fruit, or the people that are vulnerable around them, and then once they get nervous, and because they don't want to go to jail for the rest of their life or be in a nasty prison, then they'll crack. And what happens when they crack, then they'll turn on the Hillary Clintons, and then they'll be forthcoming with information. And that's how you have to do it. And a lot of people don't understand that, and it took me a while to digest that, but that's kind of what's going on. So anyhow, like, share, subscribe if you like this podcast and if you like the information. And again, just to recap, DeSantis isn't going to take any more crap anymore, at least down here in the state of Florida. If you're Antifa and you're Black Lives Matter and you come down to the state of Florida and you start that bullshit, you're going to go back straight to the hole you came. You're going to go right straight to jail, at least down here in Florida, because we're not going to put up with this shit. You can pull that shit in these liberal fucking cities of New York and the liberal ass backward state of California and different things like that. And up in Seattle, Washington, there again, a liberal ran state, and Oregon, you can do that, and you're more than happy because you can do that because your governor and your mayor will let you get away with it. But come down here to the state of Florida, baby, and we'll send you a one-way ticket right straight to jail. So that's how it is. Like, share, subscribe if you like this podcast. This is Shockwave News, signing off. Take care.